Yo, bro! Oh, bro! Hey, bro, I don't even want to know what you just did there, but bro, Trippie Redd just dropped a new EP, bro.
Wait, Trippie Redd? I'm like his biggest fan!
And yeah, bro, it's a collab album.
A collab project? Bro, who did he work with? Did he work with Juice WRLD?
Bro, how? He hasn't been around for years.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. How about K-Swab? That's his artist, man.
Nah, it's not K-Suave.
Ah, man. How about Ski Mask, bro? They had that song Demon Time? That was fire.
Bro, that would be heat too, but yeah, no, he's not working with Ski, bro. It's not even a rap album.
Bro, did he make an R&B project with Drake?
Oh, bro, a Drake album would be tough, but nah, it's not Drake.
Man, I give up. Who's on the project?
Bro, it's a project with
MGK.
You said MGMT? You said MGMT, right?
Nah, bro, MGK, as in Machine Gun Kelly.
MGK?
Bro, are you good?
So if you guys have been in the loop recently, you guys might have heard that Trippie Redd and MGK have dropped a new collaborative EP, genre Sadboy. That's not the genre they called it, that is the actual title of the album. Before this project even dropped, people were already bombarding the album with hate, mostly because MGK and Trippie Redd are very low-hanging fruit in the music world. For MGK, he has a very long list of reasons why people don't like him. Obviously, that L he took to Eminem, I don't care how you sugarcoat it, he's gonna have to hold on to that L for the rest of his career. Also, MGK raps about kind of immature subjects with his lyrics. Just a guy who's already past the age of 30 rapping about an emo girl. It's kind of cringy. And also, ever since he dropped that Tickets to My Downfall album, he has been clowned for switching to pop punk while he was previously in rap. He also has said some really awful things in the past too, which is a very valid criticism and should be called out. But there's been a lot of reasons why people don't like MGK. And for Trippie Redd, as someone who's been kind of keeping an eye on him for over a half a decade now, it's kind of hard to pinpoint why so many people hate Trippie Redd with just one reason. It's really been a multitude of all sorts of things. If you guys remember, people used to call him a Lil Uzi clone back when he came out in 2017, which I kind of thought was a dumb criticism because there's no way you think an album like A Love Letter to You 3 sounds anything like Lil Uzi. Then people were calling him a Cardi clone with some songs that he made, and obviously people were calling out his Instagram posts where he was kind of posing like Cardi and dressing up like Cardi, so people have always made fun of him for that. But really, honestly, the most valid criticism I've heard of Trippie Redd recently is his last string of projects, ever since Mansion Music, have been pretty disappointing. I thought Mansion Music was super inconsistent and could have been a lot better. I wasn't really a fan of A Love Letter to You 5 at all, if you guys saw that video. And for St. Michael, even though I liked the first part, when he dropped the part 2 to that project, it was not good at all. And don't even get me started on that Left Wrist, Right Wrist song.
This nigga is trash!
So all this to say, both of these guys are not at a very likable stage right now in their career. So when they announced this album, on very short notice, immediately people were hating on it, and then they doubled down by titling the album Genre Sadboy. Yes, one of these guys that are making this album is 33 years old. I was overreacting a little bit in the skit. I don't actually really hate MGK. For the most part, I've been kind of indifferent towards his music. He's fine. And at least when he collaborates with Trippie Redd in the past, their songs have actually been pretty good. I think Candy, Pillbreaker, and Red Sky are all really, really good songs that really bring out the best in both of them. So despite all of the negativity that people were spreading online, I actually had pretty high hopes for this project, or at least reasonable hopes that, hey, it could be pretty good. There could be a couple songs I'm gonna like because they've made good tracks in the past. And while I was having an okay experience up to around track 3, it got bad pretty quickly. When I was listening to the album, I actually wrote down notes for every single track. There was only 10, I believe, so it was pretty easy to keep track of everything. For Lost Boys, which was the single that they dropped a couple days ago, I thought it was pretty good. Trippie actually had a pretty good melody on that track. I just think that the yaz over and over after Trippie's hook was very unneeded, but that song was actually not that bad. I thought Beauty, even though a lot of people were hating on this track, I thought that it was actually one of the best cuts on here. And honestly, as far as like old Trippie Redd where he had that melodic rapping, he actually showed that he could still do that, which I thought was pretty cool. I actually think that Time Travel is my favorite track on here, but it really needed some drums in the background. But the album started to go downhill once they had the 4th track, Struggles, which, my god, the whistles on this track are so bad. I'm gonna re-listen to it right now to just jog my memory here to make sure I'm not like, it wasn't as bad as I remember. Oh boy. am I gonna get through this? For the track Suddenly, I thought it was fine, but it was a little bit one-dimensional. For Half Dead, I would say that this was Trippie's worst performance on the album. I think that his hook ruined the track, and his voice was off the rails. Hiding in the Hills was alright. I actually think Trippie showed a couple glimpses of greatness of his old style of music, but it's just not entirely there. No More was also really boring. MGK and Trippie had the same rhyme scheme like the entire track. It was really exhausting. Probably the weakest hook on this whole project. Who Do I Call had JID on the track, and it was actually pretty disappointing. It was probably one of the most forgetful tracks on here. He didn't really add anything to it. And Summer's Gone, which actually had some decent singing on there, but it was way too sad on the lyrics.
I ruined my wedding, now I wish I had a rope so I could still tie the knot.
Oh, yes, the Edge.
I know people used to clown on X when he dropped 17 because a lot of the lyrics on that album are like way too edgy and extra and depressing. But this album, a lot of lyrics, which I think is one of the weakest points on this project, the lyrics just read like some 14-year-old that broke up on Snapchat and he like posts on his story like, no one talked to me. I'm fighting my demons right now. Like, it just reads so much like they're like these like teenagers. It's just ridiculous. And both of these guys are grown men. Don't get me wrong. I actually think there's a couple lyrics on here that are actually really good. But at the same time, there's like another lyric that follows that up. And it's like the most cringy thing ever. Throughout the entire album, I thought the production was pretty disappointing. Outside of maybe Beauty, which had a cool sample, I guess, but I couldn't really name a single beat off of this project if you asked me. And also the hooks, which I actually think is one of Trippie's strong suits, was really weak. One thing that Trippie, you could always depend on him in the past was he could always give you a catchy hook from time to time. And in his prime, like Life's a Trip, there's 6, 7, 8 hooks I can name off of that album right now, which are super catchy, super infectious, and make the track. But on this album, it's completely gone. At its best, this album is passable pop punk, but at its worst, this album is cringy, poorly produced, emo garbage. Like, I hate to say that, but the lyrics and the production and the low effort throughout this project really take this down. And despite this album actually starting off not too bad on like the first 3 tracks, it just never took off. And I don't think there's going to be a single track on here that I'm ever really going to revisit. With that being said, do I think that this album is as bad as everyone's saying? I know that Brad Taste in Music gave this album like a 0 out of 100, which I think is insane. I would say that the album is like a 3, like a high 3 to a 4 out of 10. I don't think it's absolutely garbage. It's a pretty easy listen, and it is a short album. To find some silver lining, at least Trippie Redd actually showcased some melodies, which I didn't think he could do anymore. And I know most of the time I don't want artists to go back on what their old music is like, because I want them to just keep evolving, but for Trippie Redd, I really wish he built on that old melodic style he used to have, like on Life's a Trip. It's just really disappointing. Even though a lot of people were hating on this project, I actually had kind of high hopes because these guys made good tracks in the past, but I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. Obviously, I can guess Fantano is going to give this a not good or a 0 or a 1. And everybody's going to have a hating victory lap as they just laugh at this album until people forget about it. It's definitely not as bad as like The Big Day by Chance, which some people were saying. I don't think it's that bad. It's a easy listen, at least. It's a pretty easy listen. It's short. And some of the tracks are okay. They're passable. But yeah, I was definitely disappointed by this project. Of course, I'm still going to listen to more Trippie Redd. I'm not a huge MGK fan. I don't think he completely ruined the project. He's just not really my style. I'm feeling a light to decent 4 on this project. Anyways, I know I've been gone for like a half a year. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff, mentally. But I'm happy to be back making videos. I got a couple videos in the tuck that I've been working on for a while. That I'm going to put out soon. So thank you guys for staying around. And if you guys enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about Trippie Redd and MGK's EP, Genre Sadboy, in the comments below. And of course, as always, God bless.